Well, hey guys, welcome to another live stream worship tech talk and live stream review session. My name is Rylan Russell. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. Basically, this channel is all about just kind of documenting my journey as a worship and media arts pastor here in Owasso, Oklahoma. And just talking about, tools that we're using, techniques, things that I'm doing, on the job to help out and try and encourage my guys who are out there that are doing the same stuff as I'm doing, And so I'm glad that you're joining us for the live stream today. I would love to know where you're watching from on this Friday afternoon. So if you can, drop that in the chat. Let me know what you do at your church, maybe if you're a tech guy, if you're a worship pastor. We've got about 55 minutes to talk here on this Friday afternoon. And we've got some live stream reviews that have already been submitted, so I probably won't get to any more today. So you can go ahead and submit that form if you'd like to, and maybe on the next live stream we can get to that as well. So how's your week been? Hopefully this week has been good for you and your team and your church, wherever you're serving at. It's been a fun one around here. I've been busy. It's been really, really good though. Just exciting stuff here going on at the church. So let's see. For instance, tech-wise, we've been doing some different stuff. This last week, we tried ProPresenter 7.7 beta that came out last week, I think it was, maybe 2 weeks ago. And it worked well. There were some little things here and there that still didn't work right. But we tried it mainly because our pastor wanted to try this new thing where he is using sermon slide notes on these Apple TV, stage displays that we've hooked up. And we have two TVs sitting on the front row. And basically he has his sermon notes for the screen and for the stream, but then these notes are actually like preaching notes. So you can put those in separately. And the reason we stuck with the beta version is that on the old versions, you couldn't differentiate colors and formatting on the stage displays for Apple TVs. So we're giving it a try. He seemed to really like it this last Sunday. So there was, which camera am I on? This camera. There was one issue. I mean, those front TVs are running off Wi-Fi, and our Wi-Fi is just not quite that trustworthy. So it disconnected at one point during the service, but not while he was preaching. The first service, it didn't work at all. And then second service, it was like it had an error message. So after the first song, I had to go down there and fix it. It was a mess. Anyways, let's see who's jumping in the chat today. Let's see who is in the house. We've got JD. He's from Phoenix, but flying to Boise, Idaho each week as the PM for the church. Very nice. That's a long trip. Gavin says, wow, actually caught you live. Gavin from the UK, busy editing a Home Connect group video whilst I watch you. Awesome, man. Joining us from across the pond, as they say. I've never been to Europe. One of these days, that's a place I'd like to go and just, enjoy, see the sights. So thanks, Gavin, for hopping on the live stream. Stanford has a question. If you have a question, I'd love to just do some Q&A time. So just drop it in the chat if you can. Write question dash and then your question, so it's just easy for me to find here. And then I do want to show you guys this at some point in the stream. Stanford asks, can you explain how you use two ATEMs at the same time for your Sunday services? So yes, we use two ATEMs right now, two Studio HDs. One ATEM is controlling all 8 cameras. That program feed feeds into the next ATEM. And then we have, in that ATEM, we have our program feed on number 5, I think. And then 1 through 4 are all computer things. Number 1 is a full screen ProPresenter feed. And then 2 and 3 is the key and the fill. What is 4? I think 4 is actually like an Apple TV, maybe, that we can throw in there if we need to. We also have another input coming from the stage that if someone wanted to plug in a laptop, they could go into that. So then that's kind of like our final program feed. And then that goes out to our HyperDeck, which goes to the Web Presenter HD. Also, our projectors are getting fed from the aux output of that ATEM, which is why I have to have that full screen ProPresenter feed coming into it as well. So hopefully that makes sense. There is one drawback that I've figured out is that when we're playing a video from ProPresenter, the audio is actually ahead of the video. I know there's something there where it's messed up, and it's not the normal you can delay the audio. I would have to delay the video to get it to match. Right now it's pretty minor, so I'm not super worried about it, but yeah. Dave says that I should make this camera my main camera. Yeah, I could. I don't know. Like, it's so far away and it feels like I'd have to have it way on the other side of my office. I mean, sure, an 85mm 1.8 looks good. Is it in focus? I think it's in focus. I have it in manual focus. All right, let's jump into just some stuff that's been going on. So one of my things I was excited about was with this ProPresenter 7.7 update was that I was going to be able to put my F1 key back on my keyboard. But unfortunately, it didn't work. I mean, you can create these custom clear groups, but I could not get it to clear timelines. This is not good. My ProPresenter 6 here on my computer is not playing nice. It wouldn't stop the timeline, so you'd hit the clear all like you used to be able to, and unfortunately, I still had to keep the Stream Deck sitting there so I could clear things. That was kind of a bummer. I did see something cool. This little guy on one of our groups that I'm sure you guys are probably in, somebody repurposed one of their stage monitors. I think they said it was at a Gaither concert. And put the stage display TV with a little clock there, so from the outside it just looks like another speaker. That's way too small for my personal taste, but that's a cool take on it. And then also, I don't know if you guys saw this post or not. I forget which church this was, but they said they walked into their church Sunday morning and the hazer had been going all night. And so they opened up the doors and turned on the fans and all that stuff. But I can't say that that's ever happened to me. I've walked into a flooded church before. That was no fun. But hey, I bet the lights looked awesome that day. Oh, goodness. Well, let's see who else is hopping in here. We've got Josef. Greetings from Slovakia. Love your videos, Ryland. That means so much. Thank you. Thank you, Josef. I appreciate that. Let's see. Gavin does ask, any chance you can do a walkthrough of your lighting at some point? Looking at ours now, we need a better understanding. I understand DMX, want to understand the design ideas for what to use. Yeah, it's a great idea. Just talking about like maybe the theory of programming light and positioning the lights and kind of our thought process behind that. I'm definitely not an expert. I've just kind of trial and error learned what works good in our space, and especially for what works good for video and balancing things. I think that's something that people don't usually think about at first when they're just setting up lights. So yeah, that's a good idea. We can do that sometime. So we're going to do some live stream reviews here in a minute. I don't know that we're going to do any Get Off My Church Lawn this time because I just don't have time. But if you're in the chat today and you do a super chat, you'll be the lucky first person who gets to hear the fun button. Okay, so super chat, and you will ask me any questions you want, and we'll get to do our first big red button celebration. Oh goodness! All right. So did you see also some worship and tech news? Hold on, it's worship and tech news time. Teradek came out with a new unit, the Teradek Spark, and oh goodness, we got some Teradek music going. So they came out with this new unit that's a 4K HDMI transmitter and receiver, and it's zero delay. It's $1,500, and I'm going to tell you why you don't want to buy this unit for your church. Okay, here's number one. Let me go back to that if I can. So it has an internal battery. I don't like internal batteries. You know, then you're going to be adding a USB battery onto it as well. 90 minutes is not enough. USB-C, that's fine. I don't like the form factor of it. It looks weird. It looks like a tabletop thing. It's mainly more for projectors, maybe. I'm sure the connection is great. I'm sure, I mean, up to 500 feet, that's pretty good. So, you know, it's a neat little unit, and it does 4K, which is cool. But the reason I would not buy the Teradek Spark 4K if you're in the market for wireless video is the internal battery I don't like. On ours, we have the Teradek Ace 500, which I would recommend way more than this unit. It's the same exact price. Unfortunately, they used to be $1,000, and I guess just because of demand, they've gone up to $1,500. And so, but the Teradek Ace 500, I've got a video on my channel, which you can look for, and there's affiliate links on that video. I'm not going to mess with going in and putting them in now, but it's better because you can choose whatever battery you want. We have a Sony MPF plate on ours, and it'll run for hours and hours and hours and hours. The other thing about that Teradek Spark 4K is that it's in the 5 gigahertz range, it said, which surprised me that it's zero delay at 5 gigahertz. But with competing Wi-Fi stuff, like we've got 2.4 and soon to have 5 gig as well in here floating around, I would just rather stick with 5 gigahertz range. We've tried others in 5 gigahertz range. We actually use one that's in 5 gigahertz. It's not as good on the latency. I'm sure that's fine, but the form factor as well, like the Ace 500 has like quarter 20 points on it where you can mount it on your camera, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. And then before we jump into the last bit of worship and tech news, which is really cool that I want to talk about for just a minute, let's see if you guys have anything else in the chat before we keep going. All right, Bethel today came out with a video talking about the behind the scenes of their new music videos for their homecoming CD thing. And so Drake kind of walked through some cool stuff that they did at their last shoot. And I've talked about this one unit from Defy that they've been hinting at for a while. And they showed more of it here. So let's see if I can. All right, so they walk through a lot of things, but this guy right there, if you saw that little dolly shot, is the Defy, I forget what it's called, and I'm curious about the price, but
hey guys, we are in Redding, California.
This is the first time I've seen it in action. It's fully automated.
And so we just wanted to walk you through kind of the setup that we have going on here.
Let's see.
We have a stage.
He's talking about lighting.
I'm actually on the follow dolly.
All right.
Here we actually have a Red Raven mounted on a PED, which is also mounted on a doorway dolly. We have here a lens from Canon. This is a 25 to 250 Cine servo, and then on front I have a matte box from Shape.
It's a lot of money.
I'm running camera 10, I guess technically, and this is super cool because this is a Defy rhythm track.
Defy rhythm track
with a motorized pedestal that goes up and down 7 feet, and then it's running a Red Raven with 18 to 80 from Canon on it, and we're using a Mobi Pro as our head to control it. So we have full remote control of this. It's fully wireless. The head, the camera.
The Defy rhythm track. I bet this thing is going to cost like $5,000 or something, but he said it can go up and down 7 feet, and it's going back and forth dolly all wirelessly, which is pretty stinking cool.
Wireless, everything's powered off of the rhythm track. And we have 2 of these at this event and on this shoot. And it's fully remote operable from pretty much anywhere with the wireless that's built into this.
Hey, I'm Drew.
That's pretty cool. The Defy rhythm track. Is that something you guys would be excited about using? I'm all about trying to incorporate these, movement into shots into our live streams. You know, that we only have 2 guys manned on cameras, so any of these shots that we can have movement to is pretty cool. I don't know that is going to be a solution for most churches, but for larger churches, I think it could be really cool. They showed one shot where they had it in the balcony, and it was kind of similar to the cable cam idea that we have, But yeah, that looks really cool. I'll be interested to see the pricing on it. So, what questions do you guys have? You have any tech questions? Any worship leading questions? Have you caught the videos that have been on my channel recently? Let's see. What have I put out since our last stream 2 weeks ago? I talked about our full ProPresenter 7 walkthrough, just real quick, about how we utilize everything as far as running tracks and all the multiple displays and things. Also, my vlog this last Sunday was called Dumb Things I've Said While Leading Worship. And I'm sure we've all had those moments. So, what have you said that's dumb? You said any really, really horrible things? If you didn't catch those, go watch them on my channel as well. Yeah, that was a fun one to make. Our series right now, our sermon series, is Dumb Things Christians Say. So I was kind of spinning off on that one. All right, you know what? I think we got time. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of Get Off of My Church Lawn.
What's all that racket?
If it's not from the Broadman, I don't even sing it. They just don't make music like they used to.
All right, this is the time in the stream where we find out if I'm becoming an old man and if I hate all new worship music. Which is, I don't. Usually I love it all. But sometimes, there's those things where I'm like, I'm just not sure that is a congregational song. And then lo and behold, it really is. Like, people are connecting with it. And so I just want to look at new music that's coming out and kind of break it down, look at, the lyrics of it, the scriptural basis of it. Just if it's a song that I think would contextually work in my church, and get you guys' thoughts as well. So today we're going to be looking at the new song Homecoming by Corey Asbury, which is what that first video that I kind of showed you some of the stuff, the tech that they were talking about in that video they came out with, was used on. So we'll kind of get to see a little bit of it in action. So let's go ahead and look at this song. It's called Homecoming by Corey Asbury.
Lord, I confess that I've been a criminal. I've stolen your breath and sang my own song. And Lord, I confess that I'm far from innocent. These shackles I wear, oh, I bought on my own. The scarlet sins at a crimson cost. You nailed my debt to that old rugged cross. An empty slave.
That's a cool shot.
At the empty grave. Thank God that stone was rolled away.
All right, I really dig the vibe so far, and the lyrics sound very scripturally sound. At first glance, I haven't dove into them.
I've been the prodigal.
Okay.
Made for your house, but walked my own roads. Then Jesus came.
How do you feel about octave jumps? I mean, I'm a fan usually, but sometimes it makes these songs so hard to lead because they get so high, and then you're singing your other part so low. I don't know. I love the energy that it brings, though.
And tore down my prison walls. Death came to life when he called me by name. Scarlet sins had a crimson cause. You nailed my death.
mean, the chorus lyrics sound really good. I mean, it's a cool melody. I couldn't understand some of the words he was saying. I don't know. We'll see where this bridge goes.
And I can see it now, smiling in heaven, you and I.
Will every worship leader that leads this song do that exact ad lib? Now I can see it now. You and I. I don't know why we think we have to sing the exact exhortations that people do, but it's fine.
I see bright crimson rose draped over the ashes, a wide open tomb where there should be casket. Children are singing and dancing and laughing. The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Roses in bloom, pushed up from the embers. Rivers of tears flow from good times. Remember, families are singing and dancing and laughing. The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Heaven joins in with the glorious sound. In the great cloud of witnesses all gather round. 'Cause the ones that were lost are finally found. The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Scarlet saints.
What I like about that bridge, I mean, a few things. I like that it's not just like this one line repeated over and over, that it's pretty like robust word wise, lots of different things being communicated. And just this idea of like that old, when we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. It's like the modern Gaither homecoming version. So yeah, you guys get the idea. It seems like a cool song. I'll have to look into it more. I mean, I know people are definitely hesitant to even do songs by Bethel at all, and that's a whole other discussion. But I appreciate the tech that went into this, especially, and just off the top of my head, seems like a cool song. We'll look at it more. So, you guys have any questions today? This is the time to ask. We're going to jump into some live stream reviews. Let me go ahead and pull those up. All right, our first live stream review. If I pick the right video, I downloaded these earlier. Living Word Missionary Church. Let me put it on this one. It's hard for me to look over there, and then I don't know. I'm looking at my computer. So, Living Word Missionary Church. This is Ronald. His setup is a Canon EOS R6 and an EOS RP and another EOS RP. So he's all full frame Canon. That's should be a pretty nice image. Going into an ATEM Mini, using vMix for switching, analog soundboard, ProPresenter 6, and he wants the most help on just, the camera setups and angles and coloring. So this is Living Word Missionary Church. Let me make sure that I pick the right one here. Let's see. I'm not sure. That's not it. It's got to be this one. These people don't have like their name of their church anywhere in the file, or let me just pull it up and see. I usually download their services so that way I'm not depending on my internet to bring up their service beforehand. But let me just make sure that I got the right one here. Living Word Missionary Church in Canada. Okay, found him. Found you. Remember, he's doing an all Canon full frame R6 and some RPs. Let's take a look-see. I recognize that music.
I
have a glimpse. Amen. Amen. The Lord is good. Amen.
So many bilingual churches that have asked for reviews.
Our Lord is good. Amen. All
right, they're kind of getting into it here. All right, Ronald, you didn't tell me what lenses you're using on your cameras, and that will make the biggest difference in your images. So let's just, before we keep listening, let's just kind of scroll through and look and see if we can find different cameras. Mainly, they're just camping on this one in the middle, and then they've got this shot. That image looks really clean. I love the depth of field in it. Let's play and see what it looks like live.
You are all that we need, God.
Okay, yeah, that looks clean. Okay, there was one more here. Not that. It looks like they're not manned as far as I can tell. Maybe that one that's changing by the drums and stuff is manned. Yeah, it's opposite side of the room. So those look great. I feel like this wide shot right here is either not wide enough or not tight enough. Like, it is head to toe on him, but it just seems like those people are so close to the edges of the frame that, I don't know, that kind of bugs me a little bit. But let's just go back and listen a little bit, give it some time here, and tell them what we think. All right, so I mean, what I'm seeing is that you do have good gear, it seems like, with your cameras, but you don't have anybody operating them. So you've got 3 static shots that it appears to me that you're going between, Ronald. I don't know if this one is manned or not. Okay, so you got one person kind of moving a camera back and forth a little bit. It's just not real dynamic. It kind of feels like I'm just watching the service happen. This camera is definitely your best shot, but if he moves out of the frame, then you don't have him there, and that's okay. You're going to it when you can. That's cool. Your lower thirds, I mean, I've definitely seen less clear ones, but I'm not a fan of just the blue background the whole time. But you're not doing any other lighting. It doesn't seem like it's pretty static look, so you can't really make it work with each different look. So it's not bad. The audio mix definitely needs some work. I hear just a lot of vocal, not much clarity in the mix, and it even seemed like his vocal was overdriven just a little bit. So let's listen just for another minute. You are holy, God. You are worthy of all. So I think if you don't have room mics, look into adding room mics and just some more effects on the vocals to give it some more space. So that's my initial thought. Thank you for submitting that, Ronald. Hopefully those things help. I think that, I always want to encourage you guys that the steps you're taking, they make a difference and people are noticing. So if I give you things that are just off the cuff, what I'm seeing, hopefully you take that, in love, and it's just, my opinion, take it for what it's worth, which sometimes probably isn't that much. All right. Before we get into our final live stream review, let's take some time for some Q&A. And also, just remember, we've got our new little super chat button that I would love to push for the first time today if you super chat. So let's look at tailored impressions question. How do you typically structure your week as you think through worship and media? I'm sorry I'm laughing because how do you typically think through your week when it comes to worship and media? Well, tailored impression, if you're in full-time ministry, you realize pretty quickly that you usually make a list of things that you think you're going to get done that day, and then you adjust accordingly, because people need you, things happen, emergencies come up. But as far as me, for kind of like the set schedule of just getting the main things done, I usually work on Mondays for planning not that coming Sundays, but the next Sunday's set list. And that's like the if I can, I'll do 2 weeks, like further than that. But what I've realized, I used to kind of plan like a whole month out. My teams I have like 2 teams. And so they're not looking past 2 weeks out anyways, because they're focusing on their parts and stuff for that next time they're playing. So as long as I stay 2 weeks ahead, then I'm good. So that's typically how I'm planning stuff on Mondays. Mondays, we're also, posting all of our stuff on podcasts and edits from the Sunday morning experience. Mondays afternoons, we have a session where we review our Sunday experience together as a few of our pastors when we're doing our sermon planning. And so that's kind of how Mondays work. Tuesdays, we have staff meetings during the morning time, and then I have a one-on-one with my pastor on Tuesday afternoons. Wednesday mornings, I have a discipleship group with a few different guys on staff here. And then we always have prayer time every morning. And then Wednesday evenings, we have rehearsal for that coming Sunday. And then I'm typically off on Fridays. So Thursday is usually a day where I'm kind of doing anything and everything. So this week, I spent a lot of time on a lift, changing out Source 4 Junior light bulbs, installing Unify routers, met with a company about doing a full AV integration for a new student center. So it's on and on. So, my list for the next couple of weeks, includes, like today I had to set up the baptistry for Sunday, get the heater going on that. We just redid all of our staff photos, so I've got to get those updated on the website. The list goes on and on of just little things. But as far as the things I know I'm going to do every week, that's kind of how it's mapped out. So I hope that helps. If not, sorry. Eugene asks, he says, "Hi, Ryland from the Vineyard Church in South Africa." I don't know how to say that word, sorry. "Here's our basic setup. They have A10 Mini Extreme, Canon G26, Canon XA10, another Canon HF, I don't know what that one is, SQ6, Mac Mini running Reaper." Yeah, that's a cool setup. Eugene, did you submit a live stream review? I don't see it here. Let's see. If you did, I didn't get it. So if you have a live stream you want me to review, you might have tried to submit a link in the chat, and I don't think you can do links. So there's a Google form in my description if you can fill that out for me. Kyle says, "What's your OU Texas prediction?" I'm going 45-31 Sooners. If you're not a States person and you don't follow college football, you wouldn't understand what we're talking about. It's the Red River rivalry this weekend. And you know what? I love that prediction. Let's just go with it. 45-31. I like it. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game, actually, Kyle. All right, let's do one more live stream review, and then if you want to show appreciation, just send a super chat, and you get to be the first person that has me push my big red button. Let's see. This next live stream review comes from Billericay Baptist Church, from Tim. This is their setup. He says they're about to do a big upgrade, and so he kind of wants some feedback. He says they're just using iPhones as cameras, running NDI HX, and then into vMix. Audio is done via post-fade mix on Bus X32. Yeah, that's what we do too. Hold on. And they're working on some upgrades, and room mics are next on the list. Good. They wanted to submit this to get feedback on the system they put together with leftover parts, and then hope to do so again once the upgrades are in. So really looking at the audio mix on this one. Not as much maybe the video stuff because they're going to be upgrading that. So let's take a look and see. Again, this is from Tim and Billericay Baptist Church. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that.
Good morning, everybody.
Let's fast forward a little bit. The iPhone doesn't look half bad, y'all. All right, so we're listening to this audio mix. Y'all give them some feedback. Your bass player's getting it. I do like how present your drums are. The snare's popping pretty good. I'm not like a huge fan of that sample, but it is in the mix. It's there. It's not too loud, but the drums are there. Okay, I think I am hearing some panning of like your background vocalists in each ear kind of separated, so that's good. So you said you're going to add room mics, which is great. I would maybe add a little bit more reverb to your vocalists in the stream mix for now to kind of compensate for not having room mics. They just the vocals sound a little dry to me. Who's singing this? I feel like that's someone else that's not in that picture. Oh, no, it's her. I could stand for like your acoustic to be brought up in the mix. Usually I want the acoustic down in the mix because it's more rhythmic instrument, but it's really your only melodic instrument besides, I mean, the bass guitar is really a percussive. And so that would be one thought. Let's see if there's another song that we can listen to.
And if you are for me, who can be against me?
All right, you guys have any thoughts for him? He's really asking for help on the audio mix. So, you know, if you have some thoughts on the audio mix, hopefully you're listening in good headphones or something like that. So, Tim, those are my initial thoughts on the audio. Maybe just adding a little bit more effect into the vocals, bringing your acoustic up just a little bit. I don't know who's playing acoustic. I say your. You know, something that you can do with your electric drums that I've done when we had E-drums was that we ran those into a PC, not a PC. I haven't used a PC in years. Ran it into my MacBook Pro and then used samples of VST, a virtual sound. What's T stand for? I always call them, it's a library of sounds. And then you use those real samples to kind of replace those drums live. So that's something you can do, but the samples didn't sound bad. And with, no more band than you have going, they're okay. Mix sounded pretty good. So those are my initial thoughts, man. Let's see if I have anything else to share with you guys. I had 2 other live stream reviews submitted, but I just don't have time to get to them today. But I probably have about 5 minutes that we could do some little Q&A stuff. If you guys have any questions, then drop them in the chat right now. I've got some cool videos in the works. Some Pro Presenter 7 name card title templates that I'm going to be releasing soon, that basically they take the place of having to go into After Effects and export a video file that contains an alpha channel and all that stuff. A lot of you guys probably don't have access to that, or the ability to, maybe that sounds scary to get into there. Oh, there we go. Gavin says, I need to hear that button. Seriously, though, your inspiration for me has been really helpful. Hey, Gavin, you're the first person that got me to hit the button, the big red button, the celebratory super chat button. So thanks, Gavin. I appreciate it. And that goes a long ways. There comes moments where you're like, should I even be spending my time doing this? But I know it does help people, and I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to have some community with you guys. And that's why I do these live streams. It's really so we can talk. So if you have input, I want it. So, but yeah, I've got that video kind of in the works. Another video that I've had on the back burner that I think I'm going to push into is a church lobby design ideas video. When I went on my sabbatical, I got to go to quite a few different churches, and it seemed like there was a few categories of things that people, like all these churches, were including, but doing in different cool ways. And so, I think that every church has thought about that, before, like trying to get ideas for that. So if that sounds interesting to you, let me know. There is another piece of equipment that we've been using that I think would be cool to show you guys for this automated zooming feature that we have on one of our cameras. That's just a safe shot. And it's called the PD Live Air 2 PD Movie. I can't remember exactly. It's a cool little, if you've seen those follow focus wireless deals, it's similar to that. And so, but there's a lot of stuff that I learned whenever I tried to start incorporating that, and that I could show you guys. And obviously the Sunday vlogs, I enjoy just documenting the journey. So I appreciate you guys, all of you who have subscribed and liked, videos on the channel. It's been a cool 10 months so far of doing this little YouTube thing. So yeah, thanks for coming along for the journey. So I think that's where we're going to end it for today. I appreciate you guys hopping on the live stream. I hope that you have an awesome, awesome Sunday or Sunday services or weekend services, wherever you're at on the globe, and that it honors our God with the things that we do, the meditations of our heart, and the words of our mouth. Remember, guys, we do a lot of great things. So let's do them all for the right reasons. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.